Well, happy Friday, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. It's great to see each and every one of you today. Today's been a great day. The weather's perfect. Couldn't be happier. And I really want to just bring something to you guys. It's been such a great week. It really has. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I continue to master and improve, and that is called time management. When we look at time management, it really changes the way that we are and the way that we be, the way that we're able to do things in our life. So if I could just shed some light on this topic with you guys, I really feel there'd be a big movement and big transformation in your life. So as a CEO, a husband, a father, a successful business owner, entrepreneur, overseeing a lot of striving people and things that I need to meet goals on, because people matter. With what I've got going on, I've got to be there for them each and every day. And how can I do that if I'm not managing my own time well, effectively and efficiently? I need to do that. If I can do that on an ongoing basis, I can be that bigger stand for them and what they have going on in their life. And sometimes it seems like that there's just not enough hours in one day to get it all done. And honestly, my schedule is planned. It's planned out, planned down, and down to the individual moment. But I know that with better time management, my schedule would go a lot smoother. So what are some of the tips that I've learned along my journey? And I've been on using time as a mission control to really lock it down, to lock down the things that I have to do and handle to really make my life work. And when I do that, things change. So what are some of the tips that I've learned? Well, number one is setting reminders. We have this thing called a mind, and the mind is trained. It's trained and developed to forget. It really is. Because if it didn't do that, think about all the bad things that have happened to us in our lifetime. We'd still be holding on to those as if they were lived right now, and all of them. That would be terrible, right? Imagine reliving every single terrible day of your life every day. So first off, set reminders. As a CEO and a leader, I often have to juggle multiple responsibilities at a fast pace. And it's easy to become sidetracked. It really is. It could be just a regular conversation, something going on in the world. So you have to really, really set reminders of what you are setting up. Where are you placing those? And are you just relying on your memory? Because if you are relying on your memory, it will work a percentage of the time. I'm not even going to give you the percentage what I think it'll work, but it will work a percentage of the time. When you have a calendar, that will work a percentage of the time too, but you have to condition yourself to be working with that calendar. Being late to an important meeting, a certain event that you have going on, or an appointment, or worse, you could be in something, maybe thankfully it hasn't been something that was catastrophic that's going to ruin your career or your life or your family or your work, right? Those things happen. Missing them altogether is terrible, right? So you need to have these type of things scheduled in your calendar. And it's just embarrassing if you show up late or if you show up to the wrong location. But I can only really impact your way of being with this by actually it happening to you, because it's terrible. I had an important call this morning at 6 a.m. and I needed to be on it. And there's 3 other people waiting for me on that call at 6 a.m. And I'm in Arizona. So the time zone's a little bit different, but I got to juggle that because I had people from overseas and people from California. It's 5 a.m. in California at that time. But it can really impact on how others perceive you and hold others back. I've seen so many people be held back, not only by the humanistic aspect of who we are as human, but also because they don't manage their time well. No one wants to sit on a video call, right? Or in a conference room for 15 minutes waiting for the presenter to appear. You know, at 6 a.m. this morning, someone said, I'm sitting in a waiting room. I go, well, so am I, because the person on the international call, they actually said it. So I'll be sitting here with you. So it'll work out. And it's just not just the meeting and the appointments that you might forget. Sometimes you can become focused that you forget to take care of yourself as well. I can't tell you how many times I sit down, I'm going to work, and I forget basic needs that I didn't eat. I didn't drink water. You know, luckily I have my cup of cappuccino. Things are going well. I feel good. It's my second cup this morning. So you need to be able to take care of yourself, because when we're busy taking care of others, we tend to forget about ourselves. And it's so important to take care of yourself. Like when you're in an emergency situation in a plane and the masks drop, you're supposed to put the mask on yourself first, and then the people that are around you. The reason being is you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't really take care of others. So, it leads me to, it's not just a meeting and the appointments you might forget. Sometimes you could become so focused that you forget to take care of your family. The important things that your boss asks you to do, the board asks you to do. For example, how many times have you forgotten you've forgotten things because you got so busy that you realized that you missed lunch or haven't even drank that water all day long? I'm telling you, it happens to me every day, and maybe one too many times it's happened. So if there's something important that you need to do, set yourself a reminder. It may sound silly, but you'd rather not miss it, right? I mean, come on now. So when we look at these things, we have to also understand about prioritizing. So we live in a distracted world. Think about all the screens that are around, our cell phones, our smartwatches, with text messages, work chats, Teams, and smart devices, notifications all around us, and they're taking our attention as we attempt to get real, and we want to focus on the work that we're doing. These things are distractors. They're constantly like, I call it like a 2-year-old kid, you know, pulling on your leg saying, Daddy, pay attention to me. They're there, they're real. I'd rather take the 2-year-old kid than all the things that we have to do and handle in our life. But really, I mean, come on, by implementing a priority or prioritizing the strategies, you can drastically change the arc of your workday to really make the most of your time in the office and at home. Now, thoughtfully prioritizing your typical schedule, it typically involves creating an agenda, evaluating the tasks, and allocating time and work to bring the most value in a short amount of time. It's important to understand the full scope of what you need to get done. So make a list. How many times do you go through the day and you just don't make a list? Make a list of all the things that are popping up, of the things that you should do. Maybe you're not doing it in this instant, but maybe it's something that you need to be doing. So as we go through this, based on that list that you made, make sure that you get the most important things done. Maybe this list is on an Excel document. Maybe you prioritize that of what's really important and then sort it so that your most important things are up at the top. If you can't decide or you're unsure with the tasks that are most important, ask yourself one question: what tasks have the biggest impact at the end of the day? And what will get the biggest results? That will help you really prioritize what's important to you. As I go through this, if you think of anything, please do me a favor. Write down a comment, write down a question. At the end of this, I will give everybody an opportunity to share their comments and or ask a question. But no matter how well you prioritize, there's only so much you can do. And there's only so much that you can achieve in one day. And certain distractions are impossible to avoid. It's important to be realistic in setting goals and prioritizing your tasks. Otherwise, you'll create a false expectation of those around you. And you'll constantly feel as if you're falling behind each and every day. That's a terrible feeling when you're falling behind. You don't want to really be there. How can you, if you're feeling that inept with what you have going on, it's going to really affect who you are and who you show up as and that stand that you have for other people. Avoid multitasking. I really think in high school, when I went to high school, I think they trained us to be multitaskers, carry on several different conversations at one time, do several different things at one time, more and more and more. More is better. And I really don't think that's the case. I've learned to try to stick to one thing and avoid multitasking. This has really been a benefit for me. Today, we are expected to work in highly disruptive environments. That's the way it showed up. I mean, now with COVID and everything, things have changed a little bit, but what's that environment look like that you're working in? We sit down at our desks, we turn on our computers, and immediately we are hit and bombarded with hundreds of emails. And they're all vying for our attention. Then we have social media on top of that. We have our friends, we have our significant others, our children. Or for me, I get hundreds of phone calls on a daily basis, text messages. I'm bombarded by all of this. Multitasking dilutes your focus, your environment, your attention. So even the easiest of tasks become much harder to take longer to complete. They really do. Now you're probably saying, but Jim, I'm always multitasking. How can I try to move away from it? It's simple. Plan your day. Just plan your day. Plan your day. When you're getting that distractions, identify them, acknowledge them. When you have a plan for the day, when you arrive at work, your brain knows exactly what you want to accomplish with this day. And you will subconsciously have prepared it yourself for a sustained period of focused work. When we do this, our brains are unbelievable. Our conscious mind is impeccable. Our subconscious can take on things larger than ourselves. Your resistance to distractions and other work will be high, and you will focus much better on the work that needs to be done. As you start planning these things, as you start having a relationship with time, yes, I'm talking about having a relationship with time. When you don't have a plan for the day will create a plan for you. When you allow outside influences to take control of your day, it's very hard not to be dragged off in all the different directions. Think about the Ukraine and Russia situation. How many of us have been pulled away from our daily operations and distracted by what is going on the other side of the earth? These distractions could be worldly. They could be something that is important to us. It could be something that we identify with. Learn to say no is another step. And that's the last tip I want to cover in our learning today. Learning how to say no. it's so important to say no. And it's so important to stop doing certain things that you've learned to do. Stop giving those attentions to things that don't serve you or your family or your team. It's easier said than done. Let me tell you, whenever you hear the phrase, learn to say no, it does not mean going about being rude to everyone. It doesn't. What it does mean is to delay saying yes. Let me repeat that again. Delay saying yes. Most problems occur when you say yes immediately. When you have to spend an inordinate amount of energy taking on things or ways of getting ourselves out of that commitment that we already made. If you really want to say no, try saying, let me think about it. Or can I let you know later? As it will give you time to evaluate the offer and allow you to get back to what you were doing quickly. And then identify, is this really something that I want in my purview? Or is this someone else's accountability? Or are you going to take on that accountability with everything else that you're accountable for? We have only so much energy in a day. And it warns us with the hours that are ticking by, the minutes, the seconds, to avoid half-baked work. Know your limits and be willing to say no. Try it. Try it on the next thing that you're focused with. Even if you're going to say yes, say, I'll let you know later. Recognize your strengths and your weaknesses. Focus on what you're good at. If possible, delegate what can be done better, faster by other people. So before I go into the conclusion, let's go ahead and see what others are saying and asking on our text messages. So let's take a look. We got a couple of them here today. So I'll start at the top. Hello, sir. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. But it's not really easy to manage our time well. It's not easy to manage your time well. But when you put the efforts forward, when you create a good environment in which to work in, when you have the tools, think of it like a police officer. What tools are they driving around with or walking around with? They have a gun, they have a stun gun, they have bullets, they have electricity for their stun gun, they have handcuffs, they have a light, they have a phone, they have a radio, they have a uniform, they have a cop car. See, they have tools. But us as business people, working in a business, working with someone, working for someone, being an entrepreneur, what tools are you going out there with? Do you have the right tools? If you're in business, you need a digital calendar. You really do. I used to have a Cubby planner back in the day. And then I had my Palm Pilot. And then now I just have my Microsoft Office calendar. And I use that. That's my go-to. If it's on my calendar, I'm doing it. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it. It's pretty cut and dry. So how do you do that? You start building your tools. Educate yourself on your tools. Work on those tools. Once you do that, you're not going to show up as a police officer in a really bad neighborhood without handcuffs, a gun, a stun gun, or a cop car. If a cop did that in a really bad area, they'd probably get beaten up or worse. So we have to have our own tools. We have to be prepared. We have to go through each and every step of those tools to be prepared as we move forward. If you can master time, you can master life. Really. Let's move on. Setting reminders is crucial to meeting up with targets. It absolutely is. You know, as we're going through another round of acquisitions this year, we're looking for the right target. And it takes a lot of deal flow. It's making those calls and having those scheduled meetings and working with people that really want to merge with us. So as we're moving forward, it's really taking on that responsibility or really accountability. There's a lot of us that are responsible. I'm accountable of several things. Hi, everyone. Thanks. Hello. Thank you. Let's move on. Appreciate the shout outs, guys. Everybody's here. What time management technique do you find most useful for you? I would say something to capture the moment on. Great ideas come to us all the time. Have something that you can always write on. For me, it's my little notes area in my phone, my iPhone. I have a notes area that I can just go ahead and capture things. At the end of the day, I'm taking all those things that I captured and I'm putting it on my calendar. I'm either putting it on my calendar as I'm already doing it, or I'm putting that into an Excel document as an idea for later. So that's my best one, is really just capturing what you're thinking about, what you're doing. And the second one would be on my calendar that it's there and I'm going to get it done and I'm going to show up when I need to show up for that task. Amazing. Thank you. Delay saying yes. Yes, definitely delay saying yes. That's great, Sylvester. It's very powerful. It helps consider the implications of your actions, right? I mean, it really does. Thanks, Sylvester. I appreciate that. So in conclusion, let's just wrap this all up. Time management might seem like a wishful afterthought. It really does, right? I mean, think about it. Oh yeah, it's an afterthought. I should do that. Well, when you have so many things that you need to get through your day and go through, but mastering these skills can help you become a more organized individual, responsive, determined, a thoughtful leader. Use these ways to really practice being, effective with your time management, and know that consistently working on your time management skills will allow you the opportunity for success to happen. And when that opportunity comes by, it will blossom. This will enhance your productivity and your overall performance in any job that you do. If these skills don't work for you, there are plenty more out there. And I would love to help. I really would. Leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you, just like we did here. If you gave a comment question, I'm answering it while we're going. As we go on, I'll go ahead and jump in there and I'll answer your questions as we go forward. So even if you don't get the live version and you're getting a recorded version, thank you both for showing up. I really do appreciate that. I'll get back on how you can start mastering your time. With that, I just want to say thank you very much for showing up. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a blessed week and weekend. Enjoy. God bless. Have a good one. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.